obviously every single case is very different, and this one hasn't even reached the end of its case yet. But in terms of Ms. Richardson's case, I mean, she tested positive on the 19th of June, quite a way ahead of the games. The results came in early order for USADA to deal with the case on time before the games. Ms. Richardson accepted a 1-month period of ineligibility, which began on June the 28th. So I would suggest that there isn't a great deal of similarity between the two cases, but that would, I think, clear that one up.
Hello, all you beautiful and amazing people. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the show. If you're new to the channel, I'm your host, Hyde, and this is Hide and Seek Media, where we talk about news, sports, politics, and so much more. So we're talking about racism in sports again. Earlier this year, we saw Brian Flores file a lawsuit against the NFL for racial discrimination for not being hired as a head coach. And now we're seeing an Olympic sprinter accuse the International Olympic Committee of racism for the way they handled a 15-year-old Russian figure skater testing positive for banned substances. Not only that, we have Whoopi Goldberg promoting CRT and its lessons being taught to young kids in an argument with Michele Tafoya on The View. And we're going to get into all of that and a lot more in this video, so make sure to stay tuned, right? First, we're going to start with Sha'carri Richardson and her absurd take that the International Olympic Committee handled her case based on race. And that the reason why this Russian figure skater, Kamila Valieva, still got to compete in the Winter Olympics was because she was white. Now, the absurdity of this is beyond anything I can comprehend, really, when I first hear it. But then when I start to unpack and dive deep into why somebody would have that thought, why somebody would think that a committee made up of people from every ethnicity and background would base anything on race is, absurd. But then I think about CRT, and that's what led me to Whoopi Goldberg, right? It was like, why would anyone believe they're being attacked because of their race? Especially from an international committee, unless they believe they are a victim of racism on a regular basis. That's what CRT promotes. That's what Whoopi Goldberg is promoting. And this coming from somebody who said some insensitive things about the Jewish community and the Holocaust not too long ago. So, like I said, we're going to get into her a little bit later, right? But the first story that I want to get into is Sha'carri Richardson and the International Olympic Committee. But before we do, if you like the work I'm doing here and you want to help support the channel, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. I list a bunch of different crypto wallets in the description that you can donate to. I've got a merch link that you can head over to and, pick you out some funny or cool political t-shirts and hoodies like this one right here. You can head over to my locals community, where if you become a premium member with your membership of just $2.99 a month, not only will you get access to all of the videos that I put up on YouTube and Rumble, but you'll get access to any articles I write and exclusive content I upload only to locals. So head on over to locals and become a member. But really, the best way you guys can help support my channel and support the work I do here is by hitting the subscribe button and sharing my video. From day one, I've talked about controversial stuff on my channel, and YouTube has given me a permanent warning and multiple strikes. So they don't promote my content a lot. So I need all of you guys that are watching this video right now to hit that share button and share this on all social media platforms. But let's get into this first story about Sha'carri Richardson basically calling the IOC racist for the way they handled her case. So, we have this story right here from the Daily Mail. IOC rejects claims by USA sprinter Sha'carri Richardson of double standards for banning her from Tokyo Games but allowing Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva to compete. Sha'carri Richardson criticized decision to allow Kamila Valieva to compete. Valieva was given a reprieve going into the final day of figure skating. Richardson couldn't compete in Tokyo after testing positive for marijuana. The IOC has responded and dismissed Richardson's double standards claim. The 15-year-old has been accused by some experts of having a trifecta of performance-enhancing drugs in her system a month before the races. Valieva's races will not be official until her case can be investigated. Now, she's a figure skater, so they don't race. They compete, right? They do routines. So that's kind of oddly phrased there. But, they go on to basically break down what she tested positive for, which was some heart medication and, some, two of which aren't even banned. Only one of the medications was actually banned. Now here's a picture of Sha'carri Richardson when she won her qualifying race for the Tokyo Summer Games. And this was before it was known that she had tested positive for marijuana. And my thing is, here's the problem, right? You have this tweet from Sha'carri Richardson. Can we get a solid answer on the difference of her situation and mine's? My mother died and I can't run, and was also favored to place top 3. The only difference I see is I'm a black young lady. It's all in the skin. Another tweet. By the way, THC definitely is not a performance enhance. Well, duh. Another tweet. Failed in December and the world just now know. However, my result was posted within a week and my name and talent was slaughtered to the people. Not one black athlete has been about to compete with a case going on. I don't care what they say. So see, she turned right to the racism, right? It was all about racism. Now, of course, you saw in the very beginning of this video that the International Olympic Committee denies that and that there is a stark difference here. And I'm going to tell you the difference. Okay? So, and we're going to get in. There's a stark difference here, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But I wanted to go back to this tweet because she said, my mother died and I can't run, and was also favored to place top 3. Now, from what Miss Richardson said, her mother had passed away not long before she was supposed to run, and that she had smoked some marijuana to help her cope with that pain and loss. I have no problem with that, right? Toke it up. Shit. I like I said, I have no issue with that at all. As a matter of fact, I have more of an issue with marijuana being on a banned substance list for athletes in general. But I digress. She said she was also favored to place top 3. Well, the young 15-year-old, Miss Kamila Valieva, didn't even medal. You have this story from the Daily Wire. 15-year-old Russian Olympian fails to medal amid doping scandal criticism. Now, before this story broke, she was at the top, was leading the pack, and was all but set to win gold in the figure skating singles competition. It was pretty much a lock. And then this story comes out. and it rocked her so bad that she had a terrible last day and free skate performance, and she ended up taking fourth. The drugs that were in her sample from 2 months ago were some heart medication drugs, right? And I think she says here, the Daily Wire quotes her down here somewhere. On Tuesday, it emerged that Valieva blamed the positive test on her grandfather's heart medication, saying that the amount of banned substance in her system was negligible and it entered into her system accidentally. Okay, so there is an explanation for why she had heart medication in her sample. That's a way different explanation than Sha'carri Richardson gives about why THC was in her sample, right? And this, while is it believable? Well, sure, it's believable. It's possible that could have happened. But knowing Russia and the doping scandals of the past when it comes to Russian athletes in the Olympics, it's, I don't know. The question I have is why the story came out when it did. Right? It came out right before free skate, the final skating event, where she was all but set to win gold. All she had to do was have a solid performance in a free skate, and then this came out. And that rocked her, and she didn't place. But back to Sha'carri Richardson and her claim that she would have placed top 3 had she gone to the Olympics. But I have this story here from the New York Times and this is from August of 2021. Sha'carri Richardson finishes last in return to track. Racing for the first time since a drug test kept her out of the Tokyo Olympics, Richardson and the rest of the field were no match for Elaine Thompson-Herah of Jamaica. So, Sha'carri Richardson sent a message before she returned to the track on Saturday. August 21, she wrote alongside a video she posted on Instagram this week. And I'm not playing nice. Quote. Right? Well, here's that race. I'll let y'all I'll let y'all decide what you think about whether she's got any room to talk about how she should have been in the Tokyo Games. And they're off. There she goes. And now she's right there in the middle. And then, wait. Look, she got smoked here. Okay, now. Watch this again. This is her. And then look, the whole damn line just keeps pulling away. Look at that gap. Come on, man. You mean to tell me that she would have placed in the top 3? I don't think so. Look, it even says, facing a field that included all 3 Olympic medalists in her marquee event, the 100-meter dash, Richardson was beaten badly, finishing last in a time of 11.14 seconds. That was more than half a second behind the time of Elaine Thompson-Herah of Jamaica, the Tokyo gold medalist. So, there you have it. Sha'carri Richardson should shut the hell up. First of all, it wasn't about race. It was about your bad decision to smoke pot before you had to go qualify for the Olympics. I understand your mama just passed away, but find a better way to cope. Or run the risk of pissing your future away, which you did. There's no doubt, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, okay? You made that decision, and you have to live with the consequences. Now, in the case of Kamila Valieva, I don't know that she actually took those meds. I don't know that she wasn't given those by her coaches or trainers, or that it was an accidental, crisscross with her grandfather. I don't know, right? But what I do know is that Sha'carri Richardson trying to blame it on racism stems from a bigger problem we have going on in this country. I want to show you this clip from The View and Whoopi Goldberg trying to explain why CRT is important to Michele Tafoya.
Because to me, what matters is your character and your values.
Yes, but you live in the United States. You know that color of skin has been mattering to people.
Can't we change it that it doesn't?
We need white people to step up and do that.
But I think that they've been doing that since the Civil War, and I'm not saying it's perfect.
No, they haven't.
What do you mean they haven't?
They have. Listen, when you have a country or a state, let's talk about a state where somebody can be hung from a tree, and it's okay.
That's not okay.
Well, it was okay. It was okay in the South. People did it all the time. People would run you down.
And not that long ago.
Not that long
there
ago.
Still
but
lynchings
they're
going on
lynching
today.
people. I mean, I love having this conversation because I feel like it's important. When my grandpa came back from World War I, he still had to step off the sidewalk.
Yeah, that makes
to
me
let
sick.
somebody.
That
It
makes me
should.
sick.
We need more people to feel like that, so we can get to the place that everybody thought we were with race and all the conversation.
Now, Michele Tafoya, if you don't know who she was a sideline reporter for NBC Sports for like 20 years, 25 years, something like that. And she worked numerous different sporting events. She was a great sports reporter in her own right. Like, she is one of the most respected sports reporters in the game, in my opinion. And so she decided after the Super Bowl, she was going to retire from sports reporting because it was time for her voice to be heard on other matters, and she didn't feel like the network she worked for was allowing her to express those views in a manner that was inclusive. So she decided to retire and leave NBC Sports. Now, she goes on The View and gets attacked by Whoopi and Joy Behar and the group there. But what that's really going to do is that's really going to help the cause, right? That's really going to help defeat these liberals in the end, because I have this story from the Washington Post, how Michele Tafoya's time on The View helped jumpstart the NFL reporters move to GOP politics, right? Now, so she worked for NBC Sports, not the NFL, but reported on NFL games. So that headline needs a little bit of work there, Post. Anyways, CRT forces everyone to look at everything through the lens of race and nothing else. Now, the whole point of getting rid of racism is by not focusing on race. But see, that's the problem. When you take race out of it, you lose your victimhood. And that's why they got to keep perpetuating it, right? Because they need that victimhood mentality so that they can keep the fight, like they can keep going, keep blaming everybody else except themselves, right? They can keep pointing the finger at white people and at racism instead of pointing the finger inward at culture and family structure and whatever, right? So that's why this fight is so important. And that's why having somebody like Michele Tafoya move into GOP politics is a good thing, because she's intelligent, she's well respected in the reporting community. So everything that I get from her as far as reporting, I'm going to believe, because I'm going to believe that Michele Tafoya is a a respected journalist who will do the fact checking and make sure that what she is reporting on is factual to the best of her knowledge. I 100% agree with that. I 100% believe that she will do that. Now, I don't know Michele Tafoya's political stance on a lot of things. So I don't know if she's going to be more like a Tulsi Gabbard type person or if she is more conservative or more libertarian minded, more, liberty minded like myself and many, many others in this country now. So we're going to see, but having her stand up against this stuff in, on shows like The View and in the face of people like Whoopi Goldberg is more important than ever now. And that's why we have to have more people like Michele Tafoya come out and stand up and speak up for what's right.
These culture wars are just to distract you from wanting and voting for those things that will help Americans. So I wish that people would not be fooled by these culture war BS.
But it's not
speeches.
necessarily a culture war, Joy. I'm going to push back a little bit here, and here's why.
That's why you're here.
Because my kids, I'm here to be the odd man hated on the set. No, my kids in school, there is a big focus on the color of your skin.
How old are your children?
My children are now 16 and 13. Okay,
in what way?
It's been going on since they were in lower school, all right? And it is that there are affinity groups on campus for my son's first best friend was a little African-American boy. They were inseparable. Get to a certain age, they start having what's called an affinity group, which means you go for lunch and pizza with people who look like you. Suddenly, my son wasn't hanging out with him anymore. His next best friend was a little Korean boy. Years, inseparable. He started going to his affinity groups. Why are we even teaching that the color of the skin matters?
So there you have it. I agree with her 100% that we should not be putting kids in affinity groups. We should not be teaching kids that you need to look at that person and judge them based on their skin color first and not how they treat you. That's wrong. That's always been wrong. But yet, that's what critical race theory teaches. And all of these people who say, oh, they're not teaching it in schools, I don't want to hear that crap. Nobody is saying that they've pulled out the book and are teaching critical race theory verbatim in schools. But these liberal teachers have learned critical race theory in college and are now applying it to their lesson plans. Using it in the examples they use. Using it in their lesson plan, teaching it to kids. And they don't care. These liberal teachers, they don't care about what parents want. Because it's for the cause. It's all for the movement. We have to make sure that we're getting these kids at a young age so that we are indoctrinating more soldiers to fight the cause, to be more inclusive. And that's why this fight for this country in these next two election cycles is the most important we've ever had. And that's why I am going to be talking about this for the next 2 years. Make sure the people we put in place to govern our country, to write our laws, have this country's best interest at heart and not some small group or some global interest. The country as a whole. And if you can't base all of your decisions on that premise first, you got to go. You got to go. If you cannot be honest and stand up and take the questions and answer the questions honestly, without dancing and shifting and whatever, then you deserve to be where you are. We need politicians who are willing to stand up, fight for what's right, no matter what the cost. People like Jim Jordan. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey. Those people, right? Madison Cawthorn, Matt Gaetz. I could go on. Donald Trump. We need people like that who care about this country first. Not people like, but we gotta be careful of people like Ted Cruz, Dan Crenshaw. You know, because those people, they pretend they're about America first, but only if it aligns with their interests as well. Ted Cruz is more about the Constitution, but I still he gets wishy-washy, and I don't like that. And Dan Crenshaw has some questions to answer about his links to Davos, and he's been dodging an interview that I've been wanting to see for a while now. And so I kind of don't like that. If you're not brave enough to go on Timcast or Joe Rogan, well, I won't even say Joe Rogan, because I don't know that Joe would hit Dan Crenshaw with the hard questions. I think Tim would, and I definitely know Luke Krakowski would. And so that's why I would watch Tim Cass' interview of Dan Crenshaw over Joe Rogan's, because I think the questions would be better. I don't know if the responses would be better. I'd have to, see that to actually know. But right now, I'm kind of losing faith in these Texas boys down there, and I don't know what we can do to fix that. But in the end, what we really need to be focused on is making sure that people want to take care of this country and the people in this country first. So if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate you guys watching. It really does mean a lot to me that you watch the video all the way to the end. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified anytime I drop a new video. Smash that like button. It really helps feed the algorithm and helps YouTube share my video, which leads me to you smashing that share button and sharing this video on all social media platforms. That's going to really help grow my channel. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. That's my benchmark goal right now, and I need all of you guys to help me get there. So hit that share button and share this video on every social media platform. And I really appreciate everything you guys do, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.